So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Donna Holt.
I want to thank you all for having me here to speak to you today. It's an honor and a privilege for me to be able to share with so many liberty-loving Virginians. You know, it was in 1773 that the colonists in Boston had had enough of high taxes imposed on them by the British king. But rather than return 3 ships of taxed tea to Britain, they boarded those ships and destroyed the tea by throwing it into the harbor. They were so dedicated to the banner of liberty that they would not allow the king's arrogance to rob them of their fortunes any longer. They took the law into their own hands. They won their independence against a king determined to deny them the rights they were entitled to under the British Constitution. Now we're faced with a federal government who's determined to tax everything, including the air we breathe, and deny us the rights that we're entitled to. It's no surprise that our Tea Party movement invokes the memory of those dedicated patriots of so long ago. It took the dedication of every colonist to win independence from the taxation and tyranny of the British king, and it will take every one of us to win back our freedoms from a tyrannical federal government intent on robbing us. Make no mistake about it. What we're facing today is blatant tyranny, and we are justified in resurrecting the lexicon of the patriot once again. We all hear politicians give great speeches talking about the rights of the people. But when you hear them tell you what they'll do for you if elected, never once will they cite where in the Constitution do they have the authority to do the things they tell you they'll do for you. That's because there are very few good men like Bob Marshall and Ken Cuccinelli who care or have any intention of honoring their oath of office. Why do they continue to destroy those things we consider American? Why do they take God out of our churches? Why do they continue to rob us of our hard-earned money and lead us down the path of socialism and further away from liberty? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because for more than 70 years, we have allowed them to rob us blind of our birthright paid for by the blood of patriots. We weren't paying attention and would only hear all the good things they were going to do for us. We never took the time to figure out what all those good things were going to cost us in taxes and our liberty. Take, for example, a bill in 2005 that would provide for tsunami relief, the war on terror, and send much-needed financial aid to those starving and homeless people and the troops in Iraq. How could anyone not support that? But what they didn't tell you was buried in that must-pass bill. By the way, most of the legislators didn't even bother to read, was the provisions for a global surveillance scheme to track everything you do called Real ID, paid for by you, the taxpayer. Now they've passed Obamacare, and all you hear from them is all the good things that it will do. Like no one will be denied health care coverage because of a pre-existing condition. You don't hear what it will cost taxpayers. You don't hear that it will force small businesses to cut jobs and increase the cost to you for the goods and services that they provide. You don't hear that if you don't prove you have a federally approved health care plan, you'll pay a tax of $1,900 to the IRS. And if you fail, you could be fined $25,000 and spend a year in jail. Well, the good news is, before they even passed that atrocity of a bill, Tea Party leaders from all over this Commonwealth joined in the 10th Amendment revolution to challenge the power of the federal government to force Obamacare on us. On January the 18th, approximately 2,400 patriots representing more than 30 Tea Party groups rallied on the lawn of the Virginia Capitol in support of Bob Marshall's Virginia Healthcare Freedom Act. We trained our army of citizen lobbyists, and we went on to win the overwhelming support of Republicans and Democrats in both houses of the General Assembly, and the Virginia Healthcare Freedom Act became law on March 24th of this year.